Yes, Lucifer, everyone's favorite little devil. Tom Ellis has been doing an amazing job portraying the devil himself for the last few seasons of Lucifer. He is the star of the show, and I think it's safe to admit that this series would be nothing without him. His unique energy and emotion bring a whole new level of mystery to the series. But how accurate is Lucifer's character to the real-world version of Lucifer, and the Lucifer that is described in the Bible? Let's find out. Before we get started, be sure to hit that like button and ring the notification bell for more videos. Lucifer has been airing on Netflix and Fox since back in 2016. The series may have gotten off to an uncertain start, but it captured the hearts of fans and is now one of the most beloved Netflix original series, especially since Fox pulled the plug on the show while it was in the middle of a major plot twist. However, this minor hiccup didn't stop the writers and producers from going crazy on the next season, especially after signing a contract with Netflix to bring the series back for a few more seasons. The network originally only wanted to bring the show back for a season or two, but it proved to be so popular that we now have confirmed that it will be returning for a sixth season. Though it's possible this may be the last. These characters have found their way into the hearts of millions of viewers around the world. But I'm sure I speak for most of us when asking, how accurate are these characters to how they've been depicted in mythology and biblical history over the years? Mazikeen. The best place to start is Mazikeen. Everyone knows and loves Mazikeen in the Lucifer series, but she is a major contrast to what she would be if she existed in the real world. She isn't mentioned much, if at all, in the Christian belief system. Most of the other characters can be found in the Bible or in non-canon books of the Bible. However, finding an accurate description of what Mazikeen would look like has been pretty difficult. Nevertheless, the most accurate description of Mazikeen comes from Jewish texts that have been uncovered and translated over the years. Historically, Jewish religion doesn't speak too much about demons, especially not to the same extent as Christianity. However, there are a few occurrences of demonic creatures known as Mazikins or Mazikeens that can be found throughout Jewish history. According to the Talmud, these creatures were known to be invisible demons that make everyday life a little bit more difficult for us. In the series, Mazikeen is essentially a bounty hunter. However, if she were to exist in the real world, the Jewish faith says that she would be completely invisible and would only cause minor annoyances. For example, Mazikeens would be in charge of causing you to spill your coffee, drop the soap, put too much mayonnaise on your sandwich, or be served the wrong dish at a restaurant. In the grand scheme of things, they can't really cause too much harm. However, they definitely make life more difficult. Since they're invisible, I think it's safe to say that Mazikeen's character in Lucifer is a far cry from what she would look like in real life, considering she wouldn't look like anything. According to Jewish texts, these demons would have been under the direct command of God, with God using them to punish people who disobey Him.
I would never do that.
But you told Amenadeal and your mom that you were going with them to heaven.
Amenadeal. Strangely enough, Amenadeal is a completely unique character to the Lucifer series. He is one of only a handful of angels who were created from scratch to help fill out the plot. The show obviously takes a lot of creative freedoms when it comes to depicting these angels and demons, and Amenadeal is no different. A character by the name of Amenadeal has appeared in a few comic books over the years, but these descriptions are pretty irrelevant because they don't describe the same Amenadeal we're dealing with today. Yes, Lucifer's character may have been heavily based on some of the characters from the book The Sandman, but the television series is entirely different than the comics. So it's difficult to draw any comparisons between the two. As an example, the comic book version of Amenadeal portrays him as being a light-skinned beast with angel wings. However, in the series, he is obviously a soft-spoken man who does his best to care for others. We don't know for sure where his name came from, but it's possible it was created as a combination of the words Amen, Ad, and Eel. Amen could be considered the equivalent of the phrase let it be. Ad, on the other hand, could mean first child of, which also aligns with Amenadeal's character. In short, we don't know too much about what this version of Amenadeal would look like, but he is a far cry from the Amenadeal that is seen in the Sandman comic series.
Oh, that is very, gentlemanly of you to die first.
Eve. Eve is obviously known in the Bible for being the partner of Adam, the first human to ever be created by God. The Christian Bible doesn't do a great job of describing what Eve would look like, as it mostly focuses on the lessons and meaning behind biblical figures, rather than their physical appearance. In the Bible, Eve was blamed for causing the downfall of man. She ate of a forbidden tree after being tempted by a snake, with Christianity casting all of the blame on Eve. However, other faiths such as Islam cast the blame equally among Adam and Eve. Either way, Eve is usually depicted in paintings and drawings as being a fair-skinned, brown-haired young woman. She usually has a very curvy figure and by all means is depicted as being the idyllic woman. We don't know what she would have looked like in reality, but by all means, she has been depicted as being irrefutably attractive and the perfect partner for Adam. If we look to the Lucifer series, the casting department clearly took great inspiration from the classical drawings of Eve. In the show, Eve is portrayed by Inbar Labi, and I don't think they could have found a more fitting actress. Inbar has all the major qualities that you'd see in most of the historical depictions of Eve: stunning looks, fair skin, and natural curvature.
Eve?
Hey, Ellis.
Uriel. In this series, Uriel is one of Lucifer's siblings. He was only in the show for a fairly short amount of time, but he made quite an impact on the series. He is usually seen wearing a gray vest and has gray wings as well. In the Bible, Uriel is never mentioned. However, if we look at some of the non-canon books of the Bible, such as the Book of Enoch and the Book of Watchers, we see that Uriel is described as being one of God's many helpers. During the downfall of mankind, Uriel stepped up and testified on behalf of humankind. He is also one of the angels who asked for divine intervention when the Watchers had sinned and taken human wives, which was strictly against the will of God. Some sources even suggest that he may have been the angel who warned Noah about the Great Flood. We don't know too much about his appearance in biblical history, but he is usually depicted wearing a robe, often blue, with gray wings. He is depicted as a white male with dirty blonde hair, so it seems like the casting department did a great job with Uriel as well. Yes, he's a bit older in the series, but the actor seems to have aged like a fine wine. Very well. God. We don't know much about all the appearance of God. The Bible keeps God's appearance under wraps, but we know that Moses was allowed to see the face of God at one point, and when he returned to his village, his face was literally glowing from being in the presence of such a divine being. The best description we are ever given is that a man was created in God's image, so we can assume that God just looks like your everyday man, right? Dennis Haysbert plays God in the Lucifer series. Considering he is a man, I think it's safe to say he fits the bill. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like button and ring the notification bell for more videos.